Hello there. We will get started shortly. Get your workbook ready. Welcome, welcome. We will be getting started shortly. You may want to take a nice comfortable seat and settle in, getting your workbook ready and handy. We will get started now. All right, close your eyes. Take a big, deep breath in and sigh it out. Take another big, deep breath in and release it out. Take a moment to come into your body. Lengthening your inhalation. Feel your lungs expand, your collarbones lift. And hold it a beat longer than normal. And then on your exhale, slowly emptying out your lungs. Empty out a little bit longer. Try that a few more times. Inhale, expanding, filling up. And then exhale slowly. Then tune into your senses, noticing the temperature and the texture of the air on your skin. Becoming aware of any taste that's present in your mouth. Noticing the smells that are coming to you. Becoming aware of what you see in your mind's eye, lights, colors, shapes. Then noticing the sounds around you, the sounds inside of the space you're in, and the sounds outside of the space you're in. Acknowledge it all and let it be. And then when you're ready, set your intention for our time together today, holding that intention in your mind's eye. And then slowly coming back to this place from wherever it is that you just went. Okay, we are all not on video. Guys, hello, I feel so lonely. I know some of you might not be able to be on. It's totally okay. And this is supposed to be interactive. So if we can be on video, please do. That way we can see each other, experience each other's energy, and try to be as together as possible. But again, I do understand if you can't. That is totally okay. Okay, so go ahead and grab your workbooks, and we are going to check in. Take 5 minutes, write out all of your personal and professional wins from the last week. All of your personal and professional wins from the last week. I'm going to set the alarm for 5 minutes. So for anybody just joining, we are writing out our personal and professional wins from the last week. Go ahead and share 3 of your personal or professional wins in the chat box with us. And then go ahead and write out your 3 most important things for the week to come. Since nobody has shared in the chat box what your personal and professional wins are yet, I'm going to go ahead and have you just share now. So Megan, I know you just got it in the chat box, but I'm going to have you go first. Will you share a couple personal and professional wins?
Yeah, we had our spring break last week, and there was a long-awaited trip that we finally got to take, and so that was really neat experience. And I had scheduled myself a massage for the Monday after we got back that weekend, and I was really glad that I had done that. I was definitely in need, and of the silent hour of silence and paid sensory deprivation as well as the massage, and my second round of my group Nourish You, for helping women with their nutritional health without stress and obsess about food and body, is going to be starting next week, and I'm wrapping up enrollment for that, and I felt good about that this week.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Sarah Britt.
I got chicks and I hosted Easter, and this is like a personal silly win, but I actually went into my office 3 days a week, which I avoid my office like the plague. So it was interesting to be there so much.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Leslie.
So our daughter was on spring break last week as well. So I took the opportunity to take Friday and then Monday off, because my husband was off as well. And we went to the zoo, which I do not recommend on Good Friday ever. It was so busy. There was a warning on their website, but we survived. And we had fun. It was great weather. And then we also finally took some furniture from you. Some of you may remember we got new furniture for our daughter back in the fall. And there was some furniture that we needed to donate, and it's been in the garage. It's finally gone. It's been donated. And then we reserved our second beach trip. So got that done, booked, out of the way. So
That's wonderful. I know if I were you, I'd be very much looking forward to that beach trip.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Chandani, how about you?
I had a great time with a friend on Monday. I had a day off, and Monica and Gia didn't, so that was perfect. I went to Raleigh, had fun with my friend, and I had a good time with Gia. Gia had like last some days off, so I took her to park. It's always tricky because at the end she's always crying that it's not enough, so that just messes with my mind, but I'm trying to be patient. And then I finally cleaned Gia's room and closet, which was pending for last 2 months. So that was good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Heba, how about you?
I went for a walk every day, and then my husband joined me for a couple of days, and this was really pretty. And I made two desserts for them this week, like muffins and brownies, and this was like awesome. The boys finished in 24 hours, so it's a bit challenging just to keep everything on place. And the other two, I highlighted two of them. Yeah, one of them is it's been a long time since I add food for the birds. I have like small like thing for the birds. So finally I just added some food for the birds. So I think this is a good thing.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Liz, how about you?
Okay, I got to celebrate a friend for her 60th birthday, which was really fun. Had a fun brunch and walk on the Arts Trail with my family on Sunday. While it's not it isn't directly with me, my daughter decided today where she wants to go to college, so that's a big deal. So
Where
that
did
was
she
nice.
decide?
She's gonna go to Wake Forest. So, which
Oh,
happens
great.
to be our alma mater, which is not, there was no pressure. I swear there was no pressure there, but we were literally packed to go to, we were supposed to be on our way to Elon today, another great school. It was a hard decision, but she said, I don't want to go to, she woke me up at 12 last night and said, I don't want to go to Elon. I said, okay, well, let's sleep on it and we'll talk in the morning. So it's not mine, but it's been, as anyone who's navigated that process knows, I tried to be Switzerland the whole time. So thank you.
That sounds so hard. So hard. Well, great job, everyone. It sounds like we had some really full, wonderful weeks with a lot to navigate. So you guys are doing such a great job. What, do you have a chicken? Sarah Britt has a chicken on her shoulder right now. That's so cute. Oh my God, look at that chick. That's awesome. Do you know, are you sure it's a chicken and not a rooster? Yeah, that might be a rooster, Sarah.
I know. I have 4 unsexed ones, and then I'm gonna get 4 girls for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, look at how cute.
I love chickens. Okay, great work. So the last 2 weeks we've been talking about thinking about setting our bigger dreams and goals and visions for the year, for the rest of the year. And the homework was to kind of go home and think about it and journal about it and think about what to do as far as like daily, weekly, monthly, to work slowly towards those dreams and visions. And we're just going to take this slow. We're going to talk about this a lot. And I don't want you to feel pressure to set a vision or a goal or a dream before you're ready to set something. So I want you to sit with what you need to sit with. But I think it's also really important to be clear on that vision, or at least what you want to be working towards, and know that that can always change, and that it doesn't have to be set in stone, but it can feel good to start to work towards and build some momentum on something. So I would like to do just a little checking in, and we did this last week. We may be doing this a lot, but Liz, can I start with you? How are you doing with your goals, what you're thinking about doing?
Well, I'll be very transparent in that I was not planning to be here today because I was supposed to be on the road.
Oh.
And also, we've just got a lot of things up in the air right now. So honestly, all good, but I just have not given it the attention it needs. So I'll be very honest.
But I will say that what we talked about at the beginning of the year for you is to allow there to be space for this year to move in the directions it needs to move in was something that was important to you, like as far as family and being present for Lauren.
Yes. And for that, I'd say I'm very much on target with that. And that feels great.
Good.
So, and what I have found, thank you for pointing that out. I think what I've found is and like the last 6 weeks, I told you stress, like I had just concentrated travel too much. Like I was thinking about the idea of the letter at them. Like I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And part of it was because it went up against that, right? That's where the rub was. It was great. And I don't want to repeat it that way, but that's what was not comfortable because it went against that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
All that open space got sucked, and not open like, oh, I have nothing to do today, but just intentional open space, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Got sucked out of a vacuum, and I didn't have it, and that was really what was uncomfortable. So
along those lines, I want to share a little story. One of the people that first introduced the idea, baby Alicia in the corporate world had a running buddy who was a counselor. She still is a counselor, and she actually is head of the counseling. I think she's going to get the director position for the online counseling program at Wake Forest, as a matter of fact, which is different from in-person stuff. But that's aside from the point. So she was a counselor, and she helped stoke my love of all things personal development, which I've always had a love for. And we would run together in the mornings 3 to 4 days a week, and we'd talk about this stuff. And I I remember her introducing the idea of core values and knowing your core values. And so then I read about Danielle Laporte's like core desired feelings is how Danielle Laporte would talk about it. She wrote a book called The Desire Map, which I've talked about before. It's a great book and it's really fun. It's just got a beautiful cover, you know, it's all things wonderful. And so that's where I first started thinking about these things and starting to get really clear on my personal core values and my core desired feelings and how I wanted to step into the world. And all of that had come from Allie. And Allie had always shared with me how important family was to her. And so now fast forward to now, which is like 15 years later, and we went for a walk last Friday, and she was sharing how full her life has been with family stuff. Like her kids are in soccer and it's like kind of all about the kids and all about soccer and all about family right now. And she was just talking about how happy she was and how much fun they're having and how like what a great age the kids are. And then she said she was talking about something she wanted to do. And she said, I was telling my friends about this and they're like, Allie, you're good at fitting yourself into small spaces. But that wasn't a compliment to Allie. And I was like, but also, Allie, like, you're living your values. Like, your values were family. And she's like, thank you for thank you for seeing me, you know? And it's just like, sometimes we need somebody to point that out to us that we are living our values, that just because someone else's judgment of us doesn't align with what they think we should be doing, doesn't mean that we aren't on the right track. And I think sometimes we can, even though we know what our values are, if we're like, looking at an outside lens and someone else's judgment of what we think we can. And Liz, I am not saying that's what you were doing, but I'm just like that like idea of, you know, whatever it is, how we should post about our business or not post about our business or, you know, whatever it is. You know, I've even taken a little flack recently about some of the things the way I've posted about my health with my business. And like, that's not my value. That's not me for me to hold on to. I'm running things in alignment with my values. And so to me, it like all comes back to that. Like any conversation about goals and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish or the dreams we have must align very strongly with that piece of things. So if we know that that's what's important to us, we'll be on the right track, even if those are slightly different things. So just, I thought that was a good reminder for maybe all of us. I know that I needed to hear something like that, and you spurred that, so thank you. Okay, Heba, check in from you. How are you? Dreams, goals, actions towards those dreams and goals?
Not going really well.
Not
It's
going
not.
very well. Is that what you said? Tell me about it.
Yeah. It's like I think these days, I don't know. It's like it's been a while since I just painted or do anything toward whatever I'm always dreaming to do. So this is like a little bit hard for me. And I don't know, it's affecting everything, like even the health part of me. I'm like trying to escape from everything just by eating. And this is not good. I put my note to myself, don't comfort yourself with eating. And still, it's not working. It's not enough, I guess. So yeah, it's just, I think it's stuff happening in our life. So it's taking all my energy. And I don't know how to just exit it and just have my, my time. So that's.
What do you think the resistance is to comforting yourself with like creating? Is there resistance to comforting yourself with creating as well? I don't think there's anything wrong with comforting ourselves with food for the record. I think that can be really nourishing. There's a time and a place. So
Yeah. It's easy, I think. I always like thought of painting and stuff like sitting in my corner. Like it's been today I sat in my corner and it's like, oh my God, it's been like almost a week I didn't sit here. So it's really interesting. I'm enjoying the weather outside in the backyard though, but like still I'm not like doing anything and this is weird. But yeah, I guess I always thought of me doing the things I love needs a lot of like concentration, needs a lot of your mind. I don't know, like, like I'm just letting myself, letting the energy flow. And while I'm going through hard times, I just don't feel like can't let anything go through, Yeah, that's why.
I'm sorry you're going through a
Oh,
hard time. I'm sorry.
thank you.
What I've found with creativity, especially, is that there are bursts too, right? Like for some people, it works super well. I think about this with writers who talk about having their butt in the seat for like a 2-hour time period, trying to do the work, even if they feel like they're trying to squeeze blood from a rock. And for some people, that works super well, of just like making sure they show up at the same time every day without the distractions. And some people that doesn't work at all for, right? So, or there's a happy medium where that might work sometimes, and then honoring the need for it to be different and other times. You had a huge creative output during the 75-day soft. Like you were doing the work, you were putting it out, you started making your bookmarks. So you have had a huge creative outpouring. And I think that the periods of rest in our creativity are just as important as the periods of the doing, because it's in the rest that we like, it's like the importance of boredom, right? Of like,
Yeah,
that's where the ideas percolate.
I
And
agree.
like I'm looking at what Megan put in of like sometimes there's underlying nutrition needs not being met that make us vulnerable to like the emotional or the comfort eating. So it's like really trying to get clear on maybe what that might be to help. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like it's interesting because I'm thinking like I'm showing up today, so I'm just leaving myself for just 1 hour. But I think like it's easier for me to connect than to sit and create anything, which is interesting. It's something maybe I have to just think about. But like, yeah, I feel like sometimes it's, oh, I get excited getting to connect with all of you. But like when it's just, I'm gonna sit and just have everything go through me. It's like, nope, I'm not ready. I just go hide and do anything else. So it's like, yeah, maybe it's a good time too. Maybe I should try like next couple of days. I will just sit and do whatever comes out and see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And there's a lot of value to the connecting, right? Like it's maybe the minimum bar, like the connection gets us there. It gets us part of the way there. And maybe then tomorrow you'll want to sit down in your space again, or maybe you won't.
Yeah.
But the allowing ourselves to have compassion around the different stages of our creative lives. And it may or may not be helpful to like do a little journaling around the idea of like, what are my creative stages? Like, are there periods of output? Are there periods of rest? Are there periods of gathering ideas? Like being out in the nature, in your backyard right now, going on the walks with your family, being there for your boys and what they might be needing right now. Like that, you might be in a period of gathering ideas, and that's beautiful too. And you can count that as still working towards your goals.
That's really nice. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. You're doing
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Chandani, how about you?
I did work. I did write down my goals last week, and I just need to figure out how to do them, like how to work through them.
Is there
So
anything you want to talk about with that right now?
I actually use the wheel of life. Instead of saying what is and what isn't working, I just wrote down like few things that I want or I desire in each area of the subsections that there are. So it aligns with what I had initially. So it's just like, say, for family quality time with Gia, like carving out specific time so that I spend time with her and Monique, and then meditate 5 times a week. So it's like small goals, small stuff like that. And then I have like, I wrote down one big dream or something that's beyond me, I guess. Like if it happens, it happens kind of thing. So I want to attend, say, Joe Dispenza retreat. Like I've not planned for it, but maybe things will work out. So
I'm thinking about that too.
yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I love that big goal. And I love the little ones, like the quality time and the meditating. Could anything get in the way of those?
I feel just me forgetting that I had decided to do these things. So I feel like I looked at them now and I feel I need to just print them out or write them out so that I have them here so that they keep serving as a reminder. Almost like how I have my values, like I wrote them down and put them on a push board in front of me. So just so that I keep seeing it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Leslie, how about you?
I think I'm making small strides, chipping away at some of the goals, like organizing my photos. I haven't done the like gather all of them from the different places and pull them together because I need time to sit down with the computer and do that. But I have this, so we have a joint family shared album in Google Photos. And so I try every month to upload photos there so I don't post a lot on social media. I'm slowly chipping away at that. So I'm finally up to November of last year. And that's really sad. But I'd gotten really behind. So that makes me feel good. And while I'm doing it, I'm also deleting pictures I don't need or if I have duplicates for screenshots, trying to clean up. So I still feel like that's making progress. And then that's personalized, and then organizing and decluttering. Like I organized our daughter's playroom finally from her birthday. I'd kind of like put a bunch of stuff in a different room to hide it. So now I've brought stuff back and put it in its place and organize it so she can use the playroom again. And then at work, I'm trying to get certified in a system called Alteryx, and I've got some videos I need to watch before I can take the certification test. And so I finally did one a few weeks ago. I've got 2 more to go. It's on my to-do list to do this afternoon, and hopefully by the end of no, not by the end of April, at least by the end of May, I hope to get the test taken. So,
Great.
And my hope with that is it'll progress me, open up more opportunities at work. So that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you're on track. Megan, how about you? Goals?
I have some goals that I've set that are like going swimmingly. I think, or are you more interested in just whether or not we've set them? I have goals for this year.
Yeah, what are your goals for this year?
I've had goals as it relates to the programming that I've created at work and new programming that I recently created and is going well. And I've had some revenue goals that I'm achieving, and personal goals with my daughters. One that's going well as it relates to quality time with them. One that we've not been able to make happen yet. So maybe it just wasn't the right goal to be set. Like the execution, the goal of the quality time is the right goal to be set. The plan for execution of it may not be the right thing. And then the nonprofit funding I want to create is the thing that I'm like, just can't get traction in. But that's one of the reasons, like you and I are going to talk about that, more in depth. Because I think like, I I think I feel challenged with collaboration, which I think is a larger issue. Like that's popping up, like that's one thing, but I think it's also it's popped up in like a lot of other areas. Um, and you know, and I'm like, it's actually felt more confronting in other areas. And now I'm like, oh, actually, that might be why this one isn't moving. I wonder, I don't know that that's it. It might be something else, but I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's also affecting this one, the nonprofit goal one. So I have some goals that have just been kind of I'm moving swimmingly along with, and then some that just, you know, aren't for whatever reason, but I'm exploring those things.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Sarah, Britt, how about you?
I've been able to sort of define some things in a back and forth way. Like I have some goals and sort of maybe figuring out the why is almost the bigger goal. Like I have a bigger overall goal, or even these goals that are feeding into other goals, which sounds really vague and confusing, but basically I would love to move in the next 5 years, but that means I have all of these like little things that I've been working on or thinking about a lot that feel like a goal, but they're all kind of related to that, or that's like the end goal. I don't know how to say it. Like there are stacked things before that, obviously, that need to happen. So it's just working through what those are, how to contribute to those, because it feels like such a big thing, or like it's not going to happen, you know, but keeping my eye on that as the prize, I guess.
Where do you want to move to?
To Ann Arbor, which is where everything in my life is. I work in Ann Arbor. Kids go to school in Ann Arbor. All of our doctors and things like that are in Ann Arbor, but we live 30 minutes out of town. And for some reason, that used to be a lot more sustainable. But now I'm making that trip like 4 times a day. Like I'm literally in the car for 4 hours a day, just carting kids back and forth to activities or different things like that. And I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, that'd be
And
exhausting.
I have a huge property and I love my property, but it is too much for me to manage by myself. Like I'm literally just letting it all go wild, and it is what it is. But so I need to downsize in that way too.
So what are some of the smaller goals that contribute towards that bigger goal?
Some of it is a lot around money. Like I just wrote save money, make money. So there are things that I can adjust to contribute to that. I have been slowly selling things I don't use or don't need. Like we have a ton of things that used to be for a business that's no longer going on and things like that. So I'm trying to sell that as I go. So that's an example of like things I need to do or can, or at least when I do them, they will contribute to this longer term goal.
Yeah. And I love the motto here of like one thing a day, even if it seems like that one thing is really tiny and it might not make a big difference. All of those tiny little baby steps add up to thousands of miles when they get put together. And so I think even remembering that the tiny little thing keeps us moving in the direction of the goal, and that's really really wonderful, really powerful stuff. When we have such a big goal that we don't know how we'll be able to make happen. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so you guys have some beautiful goals, and I'm curious if anyone has a particular thing that they might want to talk about, anything that you feel like is keeping you from achieving your goal, getting in the way right now that you want to dive into a little bit deeper. Nothing's too big, nothing's too little. We can tackle it if yeah, Liz.
This is just a little thing, but I'm so struck by the fact, like I blocked 2 days because we were supposed to be traveling, right? And now, like tomorrow, I have nothing scheduled. Like, how often does that happen, right? That never happens, right? And the reflection I had just a minute ago is, I can do that. I can control my schedule and carve out that time intentionally, and I don't. So that was just sort of that's something that I think I need to work on, giving myself permission. I don't know that I need to talk through it. It was just kind of an awareness. Like there's this beauty of a fully open day. Like I was able to get, I mean, it's just, but I can create, not all the time, obviously, but, or even a half day to say, okay, I'm blocking till noon. Like it's just this time or whatever. I'm lucky to have the flexibility from time to time. So I'm very grateful for that. But it's just the awareness, like I don't have to wait for a canceled trip for that to happen.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And I think we touched on this last year. I don't think we've touched on it this year, but it's one of those things that's worth hearing multiple times. Although I have this, I don't know if you all have noticed, but I have a fear of repeating myself. Although I think it's probably a good thing to say things over again, but you know, it's like that fear of turning into your mother, but I think in business, it's a good thing. So I time block, or like to time block when my life hasn't devolved into chaos, or even to get back on track, I time block. And the way I like to time block is, and the way my brain works, and this is probably undiagnosed ADHD, I love hyperfocus. Give me 3 hours and I can conquer the world. Seriously, I can pump out like 5 paintings in a 3-hour time period. But if in that 3 hours, you're like, oh, you're going to have this tiny call here, or it's shot. Like I cannot do it. So I have to intentionally carve that time for myself. So Mondays, I don't take any client meetings. Fridays, I do not take any client meetings. I cannot, because those are deep thinking days, or those are the days that are reserved for getting done the hard clerical stuff that I can't do if I don't think I have the time to do it. So that gives me the time to even, record the watercolor videos I need for my watercolor club, or, whatever it is that I have to do that I feel like I need focused attention on. And it's amazing. All it requires is that I literally, people can put time on my calendar. I literally just block it off in a cutie, and then I say I don't take meetings on Mondays or Fridays. And it's kind of revolutionary of like, I do work on those days. I do a ton of work on those days. No one else gets to put time on my calendar for those days, though. Dan Sullivan, who is the strategic coach guy, which love him, hate him, whatever. I love him, but that I was just in that world for a long time, and he was the most cuddly bear of them all, of like that type of, which says a lot, but like he time blocks in that way as well. But he does like Monday, like what are your deep thinking days? What are your like so he says you need like deep thinking days, the days that are like your mate, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you are a salesperson, like you need those really focused sales days, right? So like Liz, for you, those are the days that you're delivering content, right? Like those are focused days. And then he says something that I am really not great at, and this has led to a whole host of problems because I'm not great at this. He really thinks it's incredibly important, and I think intellectually, and know this is very important, but do I do it? Most of the time, no. That you do not work for 2 whole days. So whatever your weekend is, block that off. So if your weekend is, Friday, 5 o'clock through Sunday, block that off. Don't open your email. Don't take work stuff. Don't work on those days. Even though it's tempting, don't do it, because our brain needs, like, how about, I'm thinking of you a little bit on this too, just like a grander scale, right? Like our brain has to be able to rest. If we don't have rest, then we're not able to have those focus days or those clerical days or inspiration days that we have within our work and our business. But we have to block it off. We have to put it in the calendar. We have to commit to doing that. And honestly, I've not cracked that code yet. So just being fully transparent, like I said, it's led to a whole host of problems that I have not cracked that code yet. And figuring that out is high on my list of to-dos right now. But yeah, so how does that land for folks? And does anybody else have a strategy that works well for them for blocking time off, or time blocking, honoring like your deep thinking time? I know you guys think about this.
Well, I do and I don't. And I've listened to some of Dan Sullivan's stuff. And so you like when you bring it up, it brings it back up for me. But I'm like, I don't think about a deep thinking day. Like I know that's important, especially as a business owner. But I was just making a note to myself here as we were talking about this. I was like, what if I thought about, because I think about my weeks as in like these are the things that happen on these are the types of days I have in any given week. I was like, what if I thought about a month? I was like, okay, if I'm going into May, where's my deep thinking day? Like if any even just started there, because I don't know that I live a life where I can have a deep thinking day every week at this point.
Right.
And where is my content day going to go? And then where is my rest day going to go? Like some of these things that I do find helpful, to be able to block a larger chunk of time and maybe go in and like commandeer those on my calendar in advance, but to start to look at it that way is like, where's a deep thinking day going to go? Because if I'm just going in my week to week, like I don't think that that's going to happen unless I look at it a little bit more big picture, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like the idea of thinking about it as like a day for the month, especially if we're not in the practice of doing it. It's like start where you can, start where you are. And sometimes, biting it, I don't know, like I'm considering some radical health stuff that is going to require probably a month off. And it's like, how do you really do that? And that feels, a month off feels radical to me, like way radical. And it's, the thing that we resist is probably, or the thing that we fear the most is probably the thing we need the most as well. So it's like, okay, can I slowly come into that, into that as well? So you're spurring some things for me too. So thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything they would like to contribute on this topic? Yeah, Mary Beth.
Yeah, so less on the deep thinking days, more on the cracking the code of like actually taking a couple days off, because like disconnecting, I feel like is one of my strengths, and it has not always been, but since I've been able to do it, it has been a game changer. So two things that actually made that happen for me. One was just like checking out my digital environment and being really selective about what I have on my phone specifically. So like my email is not on my phone. When I'm off, my laptop stays closed. It is in fact like not even on my desk. It is put away somewhere else. And if I come to my desk, it's like a journaling moment. It's not going to be my laptop to get sucked into stuff. And then two, and this one is like specifically for the creative entrepreneurs among us, which I know there are a lot, is having hobbies that are not monetized. That's been the biggest one for me. It's like really intentionally finding hobbies that like I couldn't monetize if I tried. Like maybe I'm really terrible at them. So like the effort to monetize is not even there. And it helps keep me busy in a way on my days off that I'm not even tempted to, not busy in like a toxic way, but it keeps me like joyfully busy in a way that I'm not like, oh, I wonder what's in my email. Like I don't even think about my email. Occupied. Yes, thank you, Megan. So yeah, that was like what came.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have something important and that important thing can be a non-monetized hobby. When you have something important, and you can't check your email, the world doesn't end. You know, I had an
Yeah.
all day thing yesterday from 8:30 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, and that's the first time that I haven't been able to like check email in between here or there, and the world did not end. Like I didn't drop any balls because I didn't answer my email during that time.
Yeah.
Okay, take a moment, everyone, to write out your takeaways from today. Love that word, occupied. I am occupied. She's otherwise occupied right now. Joyfully occupied. I like that too. Yes. Okay, good stuff. All right, Mary Beth, I'm going to start with you for takeaways from today.
Yeah, many good takeaways. Honestly, I'm still kind of thinking about my takeaway from last week after watching that recording, which was that question that you asked about kind of running our goals and our vision through what would happen and how would we feel about it if it didn't ever happen. I think that's like still top of mind, and I'm enjoying using it to clarify some things.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sarah Britt.
Just doing, you know, a thing a day on a regular day, but also thinking about designating days. Like, I cannot tell you how much vacation time I have, but since I have a flexible job, I'm always like, oh, instead of taking the day off, I'll just like keep an eye on my email. But it does that same thing, Alicia, where then I'm not like, I can't actually get into anything else because I'm like, I don't know, it's sort of like pinging me in the background. You know, it's not literally pinging me, but I'm like, oh, have I gotten anything? Do I need to do anything? So maybe tapping into that resource.
Yeah, thank you for that. Megan.
I think my biggest one is that like kind of maybe thinking about the month or thinking about the deep thinking day, like the thing that doesn't happen for me. Yeah, and thinking about it, like where could I take some of these days and make them a little bit more blocked?
Yeah, thank you. Leslie.
I think for me, just looking back, I think I do better when I write stuff down. So like my to-do list or put like a when does this have to get done thing. So having the way we do what's the most important things every week has been helping me sit down and think about it. And if I put it on paper, I will do it, which is silly. So I'm making progress. So my takeaway is I am making progress, even if it is slow. And then the fact that I actually took the 2 days off and put my computer away. I don't have work email on my phone. I don't have work anything on my phone. It was good. I hadn't had a break since Christmas, and it's worth it. Nothing fell apart. I came back. Everything was good. So take the breaks.
Yeah.
Don't check
Great.
it.
Take the breaks. I love that. Thank you. Chandani, how about you?
My takeaway is just creating more space for nothingness, I guess, and slowing down.
Thank you. Liz.
I think that whole idea of kind of the time blocking and be intentional with time. And then also it's so simple, but Mary Beth, you talk about like I work from home, so I just leave my laptop open. It's just open. Now I do have my emails on my phone, so I'm going to have to really consider that one. But it's worth considering, but just having it open, I need to put it away like on the weekends because otherwise. So thank you.
Because it's amazing. We think it's just taking that one little moment, but it like sucks you into everything, you know, when you do that. So it's worth thinking about. Yeah. Heba.
I think my biggest takeaway, Mary Beth, was so inspiring to me today. Like, yeah, creating the occupied space for myself, like I will try to like do it every day, even like for 10 minutes, just to clear everything out, and just for 10 minutes, like be intention about our occupied time and just have space just to create other spaces for whatever's going on,
Mhm. Yeah.
to clear our space a little bit more. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. Thank you for showing up, for participating, for being here. I have some, so life is interesting, right? So when something happens that challenges your current normal, it can make you want to shift some things, right? And so I sent us out a schedule of all the things we'll be talking about in Vision to Action for the year, right? And I keep going to that list and looking at it and saying, I don't really want to talk about these things. And which makes me feel like typically I think if I don't want to talk about it, maybe you all don't want to talk about it either. I could be wrong about that. But what I would love for you to do is in our community to just think about, like in the Telegram app, if you're able to, or shoot me an email if you don't love Telegram, however you want to communicate with me, or a text message if you have my cell phone. Think about what topics you want me to talk about, and or what topics would be helpful in working towards what's important to us. And so send that my way, and I'm going to be revamping that schedule accordingly because it feels out of alignment slightly to me right now. I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but it's feeling that way to me. And so I want it to be very pertinent and very relevant to what your needs are. So just keep that top of mind, and shoot me a message in whatever way you want to. But it's wonderful to see you. You all are doing a great job, and I will look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow in the Artist Way and some of you next week. Have a great day.